Supercars are supposed to be exciting. They're supposed to set your pulse racing, your adrenaline pumping. But there is one supercar manufacturer that can be accused of being a little bit boring. I'm talking about McLaren, and specifically their first effort at a mainstream supercar, the incredibly serious MP4-12C. It was a car that had all the power in the world, but very little soul. So now I'm stood here in front of its younger brother, its replacement, the 650S. I have to ask myself the question, have they finally injected some soul? I'm gonna go with yes. This thing's exciting enough to make minesweeping look dull. The last time I had this much fun, I was naked. How exciting is it? Well, it will do 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, 0 to 100 in 5.8, 0 to 124 in 8.6. And if you have a big enough mansack, it'll hit 204 miles per hour. In order to produce that kind of power, many cars resort to bigger and bigger engines, 5, 6 or 7 litres. But the McLaren uses a comparatively small engine, a 3.8 litre V8. But that doesn't matter, because it still manages to produce 641 brake horsepower. That sounds like a lot, right? Well, let me tell you, it feels like my right foot is connected to a bomb. As for the noise, well, I've been told by the people that run this circuit, Llandow, that it's too loud for the racetrack. And if I go over 6,000 RPM, they're gonna end the session and kick me out. But here's the thing, people of Llandow. How are you supposed to kick me off the circuit if you can't catch me? It isn't just the sheer volume that appeals, it's the character, it's the roar, a deep, guttural bellow interspersed by turbos whistling and exhaust popping, and all hell breaking the fuck loose. Listen, swearing isn't big and it isn't clever, but I often find it really useful when I'm trying to convey back performance, especially when it's off the mother Richter scale. But there is no cuss, no profanity that's been invented yet that can adequately describe how fast the 650S is. The 650S Spider then has plenty to get the pulse racing, but being a supercar, it's not without its problems. Practicality is, shall we say, questionable. Storage comes in the form of 2 canvas bags that live under the roof. You do get a boot in the front, and that's big enough for a suitcase, but if you're going away for a week, you and your passenger will have to take just the essentials. Am I annoyed by the lack of practicality? Not really, because this car is all about one thing: devastating speed. This is the Spider version. It's convertible, so it shouldn't be dynamically as impressive as the coupe, but it is. And that's because the 650S was designed as a convertible from the outset, so it's just as stiff, just as taut. It is a little bit heavier by around 40 kilos, but you really don't notice it, especially when you've got the equivalent of a nuclear warhead connected to your right foot. You get 3 driving modes with the 650S: normal, sport, and track. In normal, it's an absolute pussycat. Butter wouldn't melt. In sport, that pussycat becomes a tiger with sharper throttle response, stiffer suspension, and in track, the tiger becomes, well, pretty much untamable. And those carbon ceramic brakes are bigger than the wheels on some cars, and they don't work alone. That massive wing behind me effectively acts like a parachute on a drag car. Right, this is 70 miles an hour. That's 0. And that's me with internal bleeding. I really can't get over how good this car is. It's staggering. The power is on a level beyond what most people will ever get to experience. It doesn't feel like a normal fast car. It feels like you've strapped yourself to a rocket, but it's one you're in control of. The steering is excellent. You drive it like you drive a race car. You have to trust the downforce, believe in the staggering brakes, and feel that immense communication through the steering wheel. Once you become accustomed to it, what am I talking about? You'll never become accustomed to it. It's that good. It's everything a supercar should be and then some. Forget exciting, this thing's a revelation.